The voting process can be difficult and confusing, especially for first-time voters. Many registered voters have concerns regarding the safety of our voting process. UATV's Emma Manhire and Harper Buck are live with us in the studio with more on ballot safety concerns.
Good evening, I'm Harper Buck.
And I'm Emma Manhire. Let's get into it. As first-time voters ourselves, we have been wondering about ballot safety. It's essential for us to trust the voting process, and local officials are working hard to make sure every vote is counted fairly and safely.
Let's take a closer look at what measures are being put into place to protect our election this year. First, let's talk about the technology we are using for voting. Many places have switched to electronic voting machines and optical can systems. That can come with several features. These machines are updated regularly and kept safe from cyber threats.
Another important area of safety is voter registration databases. Election officials use encryption and strict access controls to protect sensitive information. This helps stop unauthorized people from accessing and stealing voter data. After the votes are cast, post-election audits are crucial. Many states randomly check a percentage to make sure ballots are accurate. This process not only confirms the count, but also helps build public confidence in the election results.
Poll workers are the backbone of our elections. They receive training on security protocols and are essential for keeping everything running smoothly at polling places. They are ready to handle any issues that may come up on election day. Additionally, the chain of custody for ballots and voting equipment is closely monitored. That means all ballots are tracked from the moment they are cast until they are counted, which prevents tampering and ensures transparency.
In response to growing concerns about cybersecurity, many states are investing in resources to protect their election systems. By working with federal agencies, election officials are getting the training they need to defend against hacking attempts and other security threats. Despite these measures, many voters still have worries. Misinformation about election integrity can shake the public's trust. Local officials are working hard to combat false information by sharing accurate resources with the public.
Accessibility is another important concern. Election officials are making sure all voters, including those with disabilities, can cast their ballots securely. This commitment ensures that everyone's voice is heard.
Reporting live for UATV, I'm Emma Manhire.
And I'm Harper Buck.
And as Americans know, the president is not elected by the popular vote, but instead the Electoral College. But what even is that? Our reporters Emma Manhire and Harper Buck are here to walk you through how the Electoral College works. Emma and Harper, take it away.
I'm Emma Manhire.
And I'm Harper Buck. Most of the time, voters forget about the final electoral vote, and sometimes this concept can be hard to understand.
After the voting period has ended, a projected winner is announced once all of the ballots have been accounted for and tallied. The ballots are then sent into Washington, D.C. to be counted. In order for a candidate to officially win the election, they need at least 270 electors' votes. This number is more than half of all the electors. Only 48 states use this system. Nebraska and Maine assign their electors using a proportional system.
This system works slightly different than the rest of the states. In this electoral system, multiple representatives are elected from each district in proportion to the number of people who vote for them.
There has been talk about a potential 269 tie between the candidates. This could happen if Trump were to secure North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and possibly Nevada. But if Harris won over Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, she would then be in the lead.
That being said, Nebraska gives their electoral votes by congressional district. And one congressional district around Omaha, Nebraska, could lead us to that 269-269 tie.
In 2020, current President Joe Biden secured this district. Harris is favored to win, but if the decision went the other way, the tie would be up to Congress. The Electoral College is important to understand when going into this election. The final decision is made a few weeks later, which means we won't know the final election decision until then. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Emma Manhire.
And I'm Harper Buck. Back to you, anchors.
Thank you, Emma and Harper. Stay tuned with UATV for more electoral vote updates. With various platforms to receive news from, voters may find it tricky to figure out which source they can trust. Emma Manhire is live in the studio with more. Emma?
There are several platforms for voters to receive information from. These sources can range from platforms like CNN, Fox, CBS, to Instagram, TikTok, or even X. One challenge many face is knowing whether or not what they are reading is true or false. As a first-time voter like myself, listening to information from various sources can make figuring out who to vote for and what to vote for difficult. This is extremely important to notice during election cycles. According to an article recently published by a Fox News, for a third year in a row, more Americans say they have no trust in media than those who do. Some say this presidential race is the most lopsided in history. The Media Research Center published that Harris has received 78% more positive coverage on broadcast evening news since July, versus Trump, who has been on the subject of 85% negative coverage on the same networks. The Economic Times News also posted a statement talking about how Vice President nominee Tim Walz has received more positive coverage than his opponent, J.D. Vance. The report states that Vance has received 92% of negative coverage during his campaign, while Tim Walz's negative coverage was around 62%. Voters are encouraged to check facts and stories they find from online various sources. Websites such as votesmart.org or 2024 election resources can be of beneficial use. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Emma Manhire.
Thank you, Emma. Some websites can be used to fact-check stories or information that voters may come across during these elections.